My name is Elizabeth from Elizabeth Magical Garden. Here is where I empower women to reclaim their authentic power, embrace their inner wisdom, and transform life's most challenges. Transitions into profound opportunities for spiritual growth and self-discovery. Be sure to subscribe and hit that bell so you're notified every time I upload a video. Subscribe to the newsletter at Elizabeth Magical Garden, as well as check out my podcast at Elizabeth Magical Garden, which goes live every single Thursday.
Hi, my name is Elizabeth from Elizabeth Magical Garden, a magical garden reaching for the stars. Guys, welcome back to the podcast. Today we are here. It was so funny. If you caught that, I don't know if you caught that, but I was going live and it was great. I was like, girl, we're not here for the gray area, at least not today. Guys, welcome back. It is springtime. It's officially spring, so happy spring to you guys. And today's topic, we're going to just go in straight for the kill, which is money. The foundation God designed for abundance is for you. Before I start, we need to, aka you, be sure to get your favorite beverage. Mine's right here. We have some water. Guys, I'm trying to stay as hydrated as I can. I'm always struggling with trying to drink as much water as I can, but you know what, we're doing the thing. So be sure to get a beverage, whether it's tea, water, or whatever beverage of your choice, and buckle up and let's get in, because mama is going to go in on you today with love, that is. Over the course of a couple of months, I found myself in a transition. I've been studying, guys, you know, I'm always got my head down in the books. It's something that is just part of my life. I love to read. I love to learn. Go figure. And over the course of time, you change your whole way of living and thinking. Just it shifts, right? And I'm sure you guys know what I speak of. You guys are working on yourselves, doing the things, showing up for yourselves, and when you do that over a course of time, you will find yourself in a position. Now here's the thing. You are made to be abundant. You are. The foundation God designed for abundance, understanding the biblical prosperity. And I wanted to touch on that because I think that especially when you were raised, I know for me, I'm raised Catholic, and it's kind of like a pauper mentality, right? Focusing on being kind to your fellow man, focusing on helping everybody else, and maybe yourself somewhere along the line, because you, through the good acts of doing something kind for somebody else, you will receive God's love. But in the meantime, in between time, if you notice, a lot of people tend to be begrudging. A lot of people tend to start feeling lost and hopeless. And one of the reasons why I believe this happens is because there is lack. And go figure, a lot of people want to hate on the people that are prosperous. And I'm not saying like, because I was going to go kind of skate past, like, people that's in, that works for the cloth, ministers and so forth. And a lot of times the focus is kind of like, they're robbing the church. They're robbing the church. Are they robbing the church, or are they in alignment with what the word is saying in their lives, and you are witnessing their prosperity? Because I'm not saying that these things does not occur, but across the board, not just in the church, across the board, there's always been crooks that has manipulated, okay, till this day, manipulated the system to make sure that they are winning and you're not. We're not talking about those things. We're focusing on the topic as at hand, which is the foundation God designed for abundance in your life. And it's in the Bible, guys. It's in the Bible. I'm on this mission from reading the book from the beginning to the end. And I remember years ago, I want to say I got to 75%. But I didn't finish from beginning to end. And I remember back in that time, I believe I was like in my early, I feel like late 20s. Let me just paint the picture. I was in my late 20s. I was at my physical job for a couple of years now. And I remember there was a particular station that I was assigned to. And this particular station was not desirable. It was dark. It was bleak. A matter of fact, they called it the dungeon. And I was assigned to this particular station. And while I was there, I remember like every morning I would do my devotion. I would have my Bible and I would just sit there and just, listen. I would just read my Bible. I would just started reading. What started off with and I'm going someplace with this. What started off with daily devotions became something deeper. I started reading longer. I started reading more passages. In the midst of me doing this, my supervisor would walk, walk past and stuff like that, and would see me reading the word every single day. Every single day, same time, same place. Whenever I came to that station, that's what I was doing. It was like clockwork. And this was a person that didn't speak too much, right? Fast forward, it was really drafty in that area, and I decided that I'm no longer going to be in that dungeon. I decided that no longer will I partake in this particular area. And I remember coming to that conclusion I remember coming to the decision over that particular weekend, because I just finished getting over a cold and all this other stuff, and it was just like a reoccurring situation, right? So I said to myself, I'm going to make an appointment. I told no one. I'm going to make an appointment, and I'm going to go in there, and I'm going to tell them my demands, so to speak. I remember getting dressed. I remember having my note and pad. I had all my bullet points in tow, so I can check off all the reasons why that this particular position was no longer suitable for me. Well, time came. I stepped in, pen and pad in tow. I sat down, and I was greeted with nothing but presence of happiness and just gratitude. And it wasn't like I was shocked. Guys, I didn't even get, I believe I said the first sentence. I was ready. You know when you're ready? When you're ready, right? When you're ready, you got all your, you got all your answers. You have all the rebuttals down in tow. And I tell you, he gave me a yes before I even put my request. He gave me a yes before I even asked. Okay. All I remember saying was, I want to change. And it was like, okay. I remember he got somebody that was in a lower position, and it was just like, it was like heads turn. Next thing I know, computers was coming. It was just so many things, and I truly believe, when I look back, It was the blessings and the abundance of God. And I share this story with you because God hears you. He hears you. He sees you in those quiet places. And I just think that if we can just recalibrate our way of thinking and understanding that our ability to be abundant is God's will for our lives. Prosperity is not just material wealth, guys. I'm going to repeat that. Prosperity is not just material wealth. Material wealth is a stepping stone. Yes, it is part of what we can encompass in this life, but it's wholeness, it's peace, it's divine serenity within yourself, right? And let's just break this down. Okay. Now, material wealth. In Genesis, when God was creating the world and he made the plants and he made the trees and he made everything to produce fruit and have the fruit have seeds in it that will produce a likeness fruit to its kind. So we were, before human beings were made, because if you go back to the book of Genesis, he created the heaven and the earth. He separated the water from the land. He created the creatures high and low, right? Before he even got to making mankind. So the foundation of multiplying, the foundation of producing like fruit, right, was already set. It wasn't a guessing situation. This is why when we have children, our children can have children and our children, it's something that has already been before man was made. So your ability to produce good fruit is within you. The thing is, we get caught up in our imagination. It said that the most precious thing that you have in your life is your imagination. If anything, you should be praying on your imagination for you to have it covered. Okay, asking God every single day to protect your imagination. And this is why there's so many distractions to get your mind all out of whack, where you cannot even think straight, nevertheless having a healthy nervous system. Okay, so producing fruit is within you, okay, which is abundance, peace. Having a peace of mind, understanding that you don't have to go so hard. You don't have to go so hard. I know we live in a society where more is more and you sleep when you're dead and all of that. That was something that I used to say. And let me tell you something, I'd rather rebuke that, okay? Because now I know it was simple minds say simple things, okay? And that is not a factor, because burnout does not produce fruit. If you put too much water, I remember when I had just got into my plant phase, when I just all of a sudden I deemed myself, I anointed myself to have a green thumb, and it was trial and error. I went and spent hundreds and hundreds of dollars because I wanted my home to be a forest. Okay. Again, this platform is not called Elizabeth Magical Garden for no reason. There's so many caveats to why I picked that name. Okay. Or I should say why that name picked me. That's another conversation. I had certain plants. I had to go through a trial and error period, because there were plants that didn't thrive because I was over watering them. Okay. I didn't know the balance of adding water. I didn't realize that certain plants wouldn't thrive in my home due to a lack of light. And it's the same thing with you. If you're not in a right state of mind, if you're not in a place of willing to hear what God has for you, you can never ever get to a place of peace, which will allow you to produce in a calm state. When a woman is pregnant, what do they tell her? Think about it. What is it that is preached to a woman all the time? Take it easy. Get some rest. Put your legs up. Take naps. Why? Because this woman is growing a life within her. And that life, in order for it to come to fruition, she needs to be in a healthy, positive, and safe space. Your mind is doing the same thing. In order for you to produce, in order for you to be in a place where you can have a healthy mindset, so you can hear God's voice, so you can be able to sit with yourself and hear internally what is the next best step. What are the things that you should let go of? Because here's the thing, you're never going to be able to get to the point that you need to be if you're lugging luggage that no longer serves you. Point blank, period. There's no way, there's no other way around it. We live in a society where everybody want to be coddled. Everybody wants to hear, oh, it's going to be okay. No, it's not going to be okay if you continue being the same person she was yesterday. Right? Right? And striving to be better, because you're not in competition with anybody. So have peace. Okay? You're not in competition with anyone. The only one that you should be competing with is your prior self. Every day aiming to be better than you was yesterday. And this is why I'm always telling you guys to journal, because journaling puts you in a state of mind to see what you're thinking, why you're thinking it, and what needs to get away. It also, it's a magical, divine setting that allows you to be connected to your higher self. Allowing yourself to hear what God says for you, what He has for you. You are divinely made. You were made in God's image. Your ability, who you are as a being, God created us a couple of steps lower from angels. Do not take my word from it. Read Genesis. I'm telling you, in the beginning, you're like, it's amazing. And one of the things that I love about reading the word is that every book goes into the other. There is no, and leave a comment down below if you do this, because I have done it. I still do it at times, but now my mission is different. So I do things much different. You know how we kind of like play tic-tac-toe and we just open that book. Okay, here you go. And then we read that passage, right? And if we're cute, we might go into Psalms. We might go into Proverbs and be like, I'm good. I did it. And don't get me wrong, something is better than nothing, right? It's better than not reading it. But what I would applaud you to do is to read it from the beginning and keep on reading. Because what happens is that you not only get to see the significance, like I'm telling you, I remember what part was that when Um, when God was talking about the seeds, and the plants will produce the plants of likeness, and having seeds within seeds, and the plants will continue to produce. I'm paraphrasing. Okay. That passage, while I was writing, I was like just that little bit had me going off with the races. So many things came into fruition for me. And I believe that nothing happens before it's time. Because, as you know, you can read the word today and come back the next day, every day, and get something completely different out of it. And this is the best book that's been written, and I see why there's it can be so controversial. Now, I hear people talk about, the NIV version, the King James version. This is my opinion. Personally, reading and going through the book and wanting to have a connection with God and wanting to have a personal relationship with the Creator is top tier. That's number one, regardless of what version you decide to pick, if you decide. For me, and I'm speaking from my experience, okay, I started off with the King James version. I did start off with that version. And when I started getting back, I started with the NIV version. Now, for me, I believe the NIV version is straight to it, right? It's plain English for those who are not smitten with the original language of English, whereas like the thous, the shall, if that's not something that you choose to participate in, then get the NIV version. If you are a person that is smitten with the thous and these, I would say both, but they both have different flavors. It's a different type of intimacy. You would have to experience it to see what I'm saying. It's a different kind of intimacy, because when you are reading the King version, it's almost like a love story. It's almost like a love song, and especially as a writer, I am in love with language. So when I'm reading the word in that particular format, I do feel an intimate romanticizing, so to speak, when I am reading that version. Whereas when I read the NIV version, I am coming from a straightforward clarity without having to, on top of translate some of the things. I am privy to most of the words in the King version edition, because that's the one I started off when I was younger. But there's that. So having a level of peace, of giving yourself the gift of peace, guys. Getting away from those people, the naysayers, the people that's asking you questions all day, not putting into the pot, but always wanting to take out. Guys, you don't have time for that. At least I don't believe so. Divine favor is everywhere. It's everywhere. It's everywhere in every area of life. All you have to do is be willing to see it and have a hankering to receive it in your life, guys. In one of the scriptures, it says, "The Lord will open the heavens and the storehouse of his bounty." Deuteronomy 28:12. The Lord will open the heavens, the storehouse of his bounty, This is your birthright to be abundant. It is your birthright to be prosperous in your life, whether that is money, peace of mind, having clarity, what position you would like to hold in your life, how you would like to change, especially shout out to my girls in your mid-age. This is not the time to play small. This is not the time to question or doubt yourself, guys. You have something that many people, many women that do not have, which is wisdom. Not your kind of wisdom, because it's not to say the youth, they do not have a level of wisdom. Of course they do. Okay. I see some of these young girls and I'm like, wow, shoulda, coulda, woulda, right? But there's something that no one can compete with you when it comes to time. Time that you have spent on this here on earth. The things that you have seen, the things that you have experienced, the pain that you received, the pain that you went through, the things that you had to overcome while still showing up, red shoes and all, right? That is something that is magical, and no one could ever take that away from you. So why would you wait until now to not step into your light? Why would you wait until now to not access what God's abundance is for you? Clear out the minutia, guys. Clear it out. Get it out, because time is precious. This should be the number one thing that you are not keen on spending. You can spend your money, spend whatever you want to do, but your time is precious, and the things that you spend time on. Because in order for the floodgates to pour and ascend in your life, you have to be in position. What they say, stay ready so you don't have to get ready. What are you doing with your spare time? Are you spending time with God? Are you even spending time with yourself? Are you moving your body? Are you going for your walks? Are you writing in your journal? Are you being kind to yourself? Are you staying hydrated? Are you doing the little things to make room for the big things? Because a lot of times we sit here and people want to hate on others that are doing and they are affluent. But what you don't see is all the things that these people are doing in the dark. They're showing up. They're sweating. They're doing the things even when life is telling them not to. And now, because the heavens, the God storehouse has opened on their life, now you want to get upset? Well, boo, where were you? Where were you? Where were you when times were bleak? Are you being there for yourselves? Are you being kind to your fellow man? You know, it always is interesting to me when I see how people treat each other in the street. Okay, I am a people watcher, and I always like to see how people encounter things, how people encounter each other, how people engage in general. And I remember one time, well, actually I believe it was yesterday. I was out on my morning walks. It was cold, guys, but I was out in my morning walks. And when I was walking on my way back, there were, I guess it was garbage day. So the garbage was in, like, towards the street. And one of the pails was like, just like, you know, those garbage men, they're doing the job. They're on the go. And, you know, they dump the garbage and they just like practically just be throwing people garbage cans like on the side. They got to just keep it pushing. And there was a garbage just like laid on the floor, like the garbage pail, no garbage. And I could have just like kept on walking and just left it there. It wasn't my garbage, it wasn't my house. And immediately I was like, nah. And I just picked it up because all the other ones was sitting up. So I picked it up and just kept it moving, you know. And I thought to myself, I would want somebody to do that for me. I would want somebody to, if everybody's garbage was standing up and mine was just like straggling on the floor, I would want somebody to pick up my garbage. I gotta think about, how would I want somebody to treat me? You know, being abundant and having wealth in your life is not just a tangible thing. Are you in alignment with the energy? Because it's an energy. Money wants to be attracted to you. Are you attractive? Are you attracted? And I'm not talking about just physically. Spiritually, are you attractive? Are you attractive that money will want to come to you? Are you attractive that blessings will want to come to you? Are you attractive? Are you living an attractive life? That the Lord should open up the heavens and bless you with his storehouse? Are you being attractive in that way? You know, that's something to think about. And this is not a knockdown. This is a wake up call, because a lot of times we go through things in life and we show up in a different state. You know, I would equate that to when you send your little kids to school, right? And when they come back, you know how you sent them. And when they come back, their face is looking, their lips is ashy, hair is all over the place, things are missing, and you like, what were you doing all day? Right? And life can have us disheveled, and because we're not recalibrating, we turn into something that we originally wasn't designed to be. Right? Because we're all God's children. We just had different experiences, and those experiences does leave a mark. And this is why taking time to practice mindfulness, taking time to sit with self so you can hear what is the next best thing. Sometimes the next best thing is just taking a nap. Sometimes the next best thing is making yourself a delicious meal. Feeding the soul. Are you eating out every single day? I know, guys, things is crazy. You know, it's very easy. You know, you work, and especially for those who have families, it's hard. The last thing you want to do is turn on the stove. Listen, I'm not going to sit here and say that I am running to the stove all day, girl. But what I am saying is there comes a times where, listen, you got to make healthier choices. Because when you are not physically and internally healthy, you're not able to be in a conscious state, which will allow you to make healthy, conscious decisions. Right? So shifting from scarcity to abundance. How do we do that? How do we shift from scarcity to abundance? One of the things is read the word. Let me tell you something. If you want to get on fire, read your word. And I am not a religious person. I've never been a religious person. I am a spiritual person, and that can leave people here or there. I personally don't really care, but that's who I am. I've always been on this walk, right? But with that being said, something happened to me, and I'm here for it. I just love God. I love the creator. I love him the way I can't even love him the way he loved me. You know, this is something that I strive, but I am grateful. We live in a time where, listen, guys, I would say it's imperative to have something that you believe in that is bigger than yourself. I wouldn't want to just believe in me. Ooh, what's that about? But to each his own. I'm just here to share the good news. So reading the word, reading your affirmations, reading something that's going to pour back into you, right? Put you in a state of mind where you have reassurance. The next thing on how we can shift from scarcity to abundance, mirror work. Mirror work. You know, I'm going to do a whole segment about that, because when you practice mirror work and you say your affirmations and you look yourself square in the eye, and I've mentioned that in latter episodes, you literally get to pierce the veil. You change how you see yourself. You are speaking to your subconscious mind, because let me tell you something, even when you are sleeping, your subconscious mind is going. And rather than be in a monkey mind where it's just doing the thinking for you, your brain is going here, you're breathing here, and then you don't even realize why your body is tensing up. I will share something with you guys. I didn't realize that I clench my teeth. Like I clench, like when I'm doing something, if I'm concentrating on something, if I'm anything I'm doing intense, I would clench. And I didn't realize, even like the way I would hold my body. And this can, of course, you know, when you have dealt with trauma as I have, you develop different mechanisms, right? It's like if you hear like somebody, you hear a noise in the street, the first thing you do is clench up, right? So any kind of like force act will allow you to do so. But this is something that I picked up, or I don't realize how long I've been doing it. But anyway, I believe one of the reasons why that I've been confronted with that is because I started reading the word. I'm telling you, and practicing mirror work. So one day I had like a little headache. I was like, why? What's going on? And I realized, because one day I remember like my jaw was like a little sore. Like I was like, girl, what is going on? And I realized one day I was observant, and I was like, I felt myself like clench, and I was like, oh my goodness. And I read up on it, and it's from anxiety, something that I have disclosed that I am working past, and type A personalities. Guys, it's a real thing. How your mind works, you know the old saying, where the mind goes, the body follows. So practicing mirror work and speaking life into yourself, speaking abundance in yourself, saying your affirmations and looking yourself square in the eye. And this is not something that is comfortable in the beginning. I know for me, it was a hard thing just looking at myself in the mirror for a certain amount of time. I remember the first time that I looked myself square in the eyes, and I was determined to get past. I had tears running in my eyes. I felt anger. I felt frustration, but I let myself look myself in the eye. And from that battle, I started speaking life into myself. You are courageous. You are confident. Just saying these things into yourself, guys, will allow you to experience life on a whole new level. Why wait for somebody else to tell you? Why wait for somebody else to tell you that you are fearless and wonderfully made. Why wait for somebody else to tell you that you are a child of God? Boo, I already know because God told me and I tell myself. You don't have to wait for somebody to give you your accolades. Boo. How the kids do it and all of that, I don't know. You have what it takes to do it for yourself. So speaking life into yourself, guys, is key. Right? Last but not least, moving your body. There is a spiritual resonance that happens with you and your internal self when you move your body. Going for walks, practicing soft yoga. You even have exercises for those who may not be able to move in certain ways. You have chair exercises. There are deep meditations with breathing exercises. There's always something that you can do, guys. Because this will clear the passage for God to speak to you so you can hear God's voice. This is the main thing, because we're here for the goods. We're here for the goods. We're here to move from scarcity to abundance, recognizing that God's resources are ultimate. It's ultimate. It's enough for everyone. There's enough for it to go around for everybody. Scarcity is something that has been taught. It's been taught to us. There has been things that has happened that over the world and over the course of the decades has happened. You know, this country has been to war. There's so many different things that has happened, you know, over the course of time, where people, you know, the industry had to learn to recover. There's so many things in the 50s, in the 60s that has happened, and even before that, where they had to recalibrate, and things was scarce at that time. And somewhere along the line, we, even with all the production that we have received over the centuries, even no matter how far we've come, we still have this lack mentality, like it's not enough. And who says? I love the paraphrase where it says, if God feed the birds have food every day. The trees, through seasons, they still grow tall. The leaves are green. The fish are eating. Everybody is catching their gain. Everybody is flourishing. But you mean to tell me the one that has dominion over all is living in lack? That doesn't even make sense. God gave us dominion over everything on this earth. So how can the head honcho be the last? It's a mindset. And you shall have what you ask for. That's the thing. That's the thing. Whatever you can conceive is what you shall have. No more, no less. So me coming here is an invitation to help you start your journey in an abundance mindset, practicing an abundance mindset, whether it's money, physical health, love, prosperity in every region. It's a mindset. If you can thinketh, you can haveth, okay? But the only way that you're going to be able to have and shift from a scarcity mindset to an abundance mindset is if you change how you think. If you change the things that you focus on. recognizing that God's resources are ultimate. Okay? Money is energy. And if your energy is not what it needs to be, like I said, money wants to be attracted to you. If you are not what you need to be, and a lot of things, it took me years to get to this point, guys, and I still work at I work at it every single day. This is not a one and done. I should have said this in the beginning. If you are here for a one and done, then this is not the episode for you. You might as well just click off and go listen to another episode of mine, because this is work. This is consistency. This is consistency, dare I say, for the rest of your life. Right? The good news is the more you do it, the more knowledgeable you will be, because then you'll be able to see, okay, you know what? This doesn't serve me. This person doesn't serve me. This place doesn't serve me. And once you can see what doesn't serve you, then you can devise a plan, a master plan of getting out. But you can't get out of your situation if you don't realize you're in it. Right? So understanding, having a level of understanding, having discernment over your life is key, guys. Right? Understanding the flow of giving. That's another thing. You got to give to get. There's no such thing as getting and not giving. Whether it's your time, whether it's your energy, you got to give back. Are you taking time to give back? We live in a society where people barely even want to hold a door for you. Nevertheless, say good morning. I try and I work at it because I'm only human. I do, whether it's a person, like if I'm buying food or if I'm shopping, whatever service, if somebody's giving me a service, I really do my best to see them. I'll ask them, how are you today? How are you? How is your day going so far? You'd be surprised. People's face lights up when I speak to them like that, and I'm speaking to them, I'm looking at them in their eyes. I'm conscious. I'm showing them that I really want to hear what they have to say in this given place of time. I'm showing gratitude for their services, no matter what the service is, because at the end of the day, we are all human beings. There's one door. There's one door to go. There's one door that everybody is going to visit and not turn around from. So you might as well start now. Okay? Understanding that giving, it doesn't take much to give. Whether it's your time, whether it's your money, there's always something that you can give. A lot of times people say, well, I need for myself. Having that mindset, like I need for myself. Okay. And how do you think that you're going to get more if you're not giving? First of all, giving is a faith act, right? It's a level of faith. When you give, especially, what does it say in the Bible? Everybody was given, and the lady that came and she only had two, I'm paraphrasing, I'm gonna say two pennies, and she gave her only 2 pennies. It said that she gave the most because that was all that she had. Until this day, she earned herself a permanent place in the Bible. She earned herself a permanent position with God because of her selfless act. Right? Because when you come from a place of holding, when you come from a place where it's like, oh, I got to hold on because I don't know when the next time I'm going to get this, or I'm going to get the next time I'm going to get that. You're basically saying that you don't believe that God has the ability to change your situation around. That's what you may not consciously realize that, but I'm telling you, when you come from a place of lack, You're pronouncing to the world, to the universe, that you don't believe what it has to offer. And guess what? It's going to turn around. Oh, okay. Well, she don't know. Let me go to somebody that's expecting me. Okay. You want to live a life of expectancy, right? Understanding the flow of giving also enables you to receive, right? There's a cycle that happens when you allow yourself to be in that state. Say what you want. I truly believe one of the reasons why, I don't know her, but Oprah is so abundant. Her giving game, say what you want, okay? Because she did, I don't care how much money she has. She doesn't, there's no demand. She doesn't have to. But her giving game, you remember, for those, if you're in your 50s, the 40s, 50s and up, I'm sure you know the Oprah show. Okay, who doesn't know the Oprah show? But back in the day when she used to have her show, there was one particular show when she was giving out cars, boo. She was giving out cars. Them people, let me tell you something. I said to myself, if I ever was able, especially back then, the first thing I would have did was check underneath my seat. Because what? These people had so many gifts that this woman allotted for them. They had cars. They had, the things that Oprah gave to the public is, I don't know, it's unbelievable almost. And you can see the fruits of her life. Yes, she also did the work. She also showed up for life. But this woman, out of the graciousness of her heart, she allowed herself to be a tool to bless others. You can never outshow God. Okay? You can get that out your head. You can never do more for God's children than God will do. When you bless somebody, you are blessing yourself. When you curse somebody, you're also cursing yourself. So you want to be on a blessing game, guys. It doesn't hurt. Try it. Don't listen to me. Listen to God. Try it. Try it on the simplest way. I challenge you to do a selfless act. No matter how big or small, I'll leave that up to you. And see how quickly it's returned. Now, this is not to say that you do to get. And this is also not to say that the person or the place, that you actually gave to is going to just automatically give to you, because it doesn't work like that. But you will be blessed. You can bet your bottom dollar about that. Okay? So it's a beautiful thing. You know the old saying, it's better to receive. It's better to give. It's better to give than to receive. Guys, if this helped you in the least, if this episode turned any wheels around in your pretty little head, be sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel at Elizabeth Magical Garden. You guys know that I go live every single Wednesday. Yes, we are going live every single Wednesday on this platform. So for those who would like to get a little preview to what the current episodes will be moving forward, because sometimes they're right the next day and sometimes they're not, but just even be part of the community, head on over to Elizabeth Magical Garden podcast so you can be part of the live and hang out with your girl. Also, be sure to go to the links down below so you can receive your free gifts receive your free gift. This is something that I worked on and I believe will help you be in a path to healing your nervous system, healing you in a way where you can be much more fruitful within self and hear what God has to say within your life. Because guys, let me tell you something. In this life, in this current lifetime, understanding your position, understanding who you are is imperative. Do not take that lightly. With that being said, stay blessed, stay in peace, and most importantly, stay empowered. Peace. Hey guys, leave a comment, a review, preferably 5 stars. And don't forget to check me out on Instagram because what is popping over there. And also check out my YouTube channel to stay connected and see your girl's lovely face. Guys, I love you so much. Keep on pushing, and I'll definitely speak to you soon. Be blessed.